Hello everybody, hope you're doing very well. Just wanted to come on quickly and just talk about my recent holiday. I spent a week in Malaysia, in Penang, Malaysia. And I just kind of wanted to come on and talk a little bit about just a few things that I've been thinking about and experiences that I had while I was there. Just traveling in general, really. It's a bizarre thing traveling. It's a strange experience in many respects because, on the one hand, wherever you are, you're conscious of the fact that you're not really living a kind of it's not really a normal experience as such. It's you're riding this high of being away from the usual normal, repetitive, tedious, even mundanity of everyday life, whether that's whatever that is in your life, whatever habits and routines and whatever your daily schedule is in your lifestyle and your job and so forth. So you're aware of that fact that it's like when you're looking around you that there's other people there that are clearly not there on holiday, and for them that's just a way of life, and that's normality for them, whereas for us it's not. And so I always found that quite an interesting thing, that for us we're riding out this experience of like a lot of things are new, unless it's somewhere you've been repeatedly before. But even still, it's nice to just have that. It's nice to just have that breakaway from the same old thing every day. In my particular situation, it wasn't so much a holiday as it was more of a kind of means to an end type situation, really. And I had to leave for visa purposes, but it was still it was, I guess, a kind of holiday in a way, and I enjoyed it. It was nice to get away from Thailand for a week. There were things I love about living in Thailand, but it's nice to get away from it every now and again. And I haven't been out of the country since early 2023, so it's been a while. And certainly, I hadn't been back to Penang, Malaysia, since September of 2018. So it's been a long time. Not much has changed, really. It's pretty much the same place. It was not that long ago, but so it was nice to go back. It was nice to see some familiar sights, and it's nice to see some new things that we didn't get time to do the last time me and my wife were there. So it's just nice to have that. It can really help you a lot to work out of that what can feel a very a mind-numbingly, soul-crushing experience that is reality. The real world, or what is the real world for most people, and that is doing pretty much the same things every day. Going to the same place of work, seeing the same people, etc., etc. So I just found that there was it was uplifting, it was refreshing, and I think in many ways it's what we both needed. I think we both needed a break away from things here. And that's not to say that my life is particularly demanding or difficult here in Bangkok, but there are things just things that sort of niggle away. It was like just sort of things just sort to just sort of like just start getting to you after a while. Just things start to sort of slowly start chipping away at your sanity, and you know, and it's sometimes it's hard to remain positive and optimistic and hopeful. I think when you kind of feel stuck at times in life, when you're just going through the motions. And you know, sometimes it's important to have that opportunity to see things in a different perspective. You know, even though it's only temporarily, it's nice to realize and to be thankful and grateful for the things that you've got, because you know, while your life might not be perfect, and mine certainly isn't. You know, so some people might think, well, you know, you've got a pretty decent life, and yeah, I do, but it's not the life I would have chosen. It's certainly not ideal in many respects, but you know, in some ways I'm lucky, in some ways maybe not so lucky. So I don't know, but I think having that time away from where it is that you call home, it's just so good for your mentality, so good for you. It's just so good for your well-being, really. You know, it's just nice to have a different angle of looking at things from time to time. You know, because it's easy to get bogged down in. You know, because after when we get home, and after a while we sort of get back into the routine and the normality, and habits start setting in again and thing, and that is for the most part how we are as people. You know, unfortunately, and it's hard to break out of some of those things. And so it's good to have some time away to kind of reevaluate things, to review things, and to you know, to assess where you are and how you feel about a lot of things. And one thing that I've realised that more than anything is probably the most important thing is that you know, the holidays, I think they're underappreciated really a lot of the time. You know, they're so important. And when I mean holiday, I don't mean like a short trip somewhere local, but I mean a trip, a serious break away from your own country, just to get away from everything that you're familiar with, you know, to psychoanalyze, to look more deeply at yourself, and to see and to ask yourself some important questions about where you are, where you're going, and where you're not going, and to start thinking about, you know, how, you know, if your life's not great, because sometimes you go on holiday and you meet people and you see certain things and you have certain experiences, and you think, oh, I'd love to have that again. I'd love to have that kind of lifestyle. I'd love to be able to do this more often, but I can't because of this, or whatever. And it's easy to get jealous. It's easy to get envious sometimes, and you know, you meet certain people and they seem to have it all together. But of course, you know, we don't know what the full story is with anyone that we meet on our travels. But you know, there are no doubt that there are a lot of people out there that have it a lot better than us. You know, and a lot of people out there that don't. You know, so. It's, you know, but it makes you think. It makes you realise that, you know, maybe I haven't got my shit together yet. You know, maybe I just haven't done enough. I haven't pushed myself enough. Or maybe I need to seriously consider whether the place that I call home should be my home. Certainly for the foreseeable future anyway. And so, you know, we get so attached to things in our own little bubbles, our own little worlds, and it's only when you get out of your comfort zones from time to time that you realise just how stubborn you've been, just how naive you've been, and you know, just how kind of self-destructive a lot of things that you do can be. Certainly over a long period of time. It's hard to break away from those deeply ingrained habits that we've all developed, in whatever they are. whether it's in our just with relationship with ourselves, whether it's in our partnerships, marriages, in our relationship with our co-workers, you know, whatever it might be. So it's important to reassess things. I think it's like being in a relationship. We see it in a certain way, and then when we're not in it, we see it very differently. And I think that's why holidays are so great, because yes, it's nice to go somewhere that's got better climate or better food, or there's an entirely different culture. That's all good and great, but on a deeper level, I think it's massively important to be able to just go somewhere that's out of your comfort zone, really, because we all get stuck in our comfort zones, and that is a part of being a human being. We do like comfort. We like a certain degree of stability in our lives, and there's nothing wrong in that. I don't think, as long as it's not destructive. It's not, if it's if it's productive, or if it serves us well in certain ways, if it's healthy, then that's going great. But I think over time we get caught up in things, and we forget what matters. We forget the people that matter to us. We get so obsessed with whatever it might be, just existing, really. And we forget what it means to be alive. We forget what it means to be happy, really. Okay, maybe it's only a temporary state, but how wonderful it is to wake up and actually be happy. That's a real blessing in life. And although okay, on a holiday you might only have it for a few days or maybe a few weeks if you're lucky, that is really quality time. That's and those memories will stay with you. These things are massively important, because at the end of the day, that is what matters. Memories matter. Having good times matters, because life's hard, and you're certainly gonna have plenty of crap times. So anything you can do to try and give yourself opportunities where you can be happy, at least happier than you was before, you should do that. I met a young lady from Spain, the Basque region of Spain, and she was an interesting character, that's for sure. Didn't quite know what to make of her, really. She was quite, chatty, friendly, sort of bubbly to a certain extent. But I just felt like a lot of people that I've met on my travels over on and off over the years, just through talking to people, whether that's in airports or just wherever we've been and whatever. You just always get that this impression that people are running away from things a lot of the time, and that there's personality defects. There's familial issues going on. There's internal struggles and conflicts and contradictions and personal dramas and things that are playing out in people's lives that they don't talk about. But you don't know for sure, but you can also get that impression with certain people that there's often that people's lives are complicated, that there are complex issues going on behind that facade of the smiling and laughing and things like that. There's a real story there. There's someone's unique journey, and that's very different, often very different to your own, and that how they look at things and think about things is very different to you as well. Even from people who come from the same country or even the same city sometimes as you. So it's interesting to meet people especially from European countries, I find, because, well, for starters, you can communicate with them usually, and it's just and sometimes they tell you things and you don't know how much of it to believe, and and other things to tell you, and you can believe them. And I just found that this woman was a very interesting person. Yeah, she was, quite well spoken. Really, I mean, her English wasn't the best, but neither is mine. um, but she seemed somewhat genuine. I think she seemed somewhat, um, it's kind of. I think she was someone that, she was clearly staunchly independent, and I think she's obviously come from some kind of quite well off background, for by all accounts. Um, she seemed nice enough.